It's time for, hello, a Jersey Shore recap podcast.
Hello?
Hello.
Well, look who it is. It's me, Angel Iconic, but on Thursdays, I go by Cookie.
And you can call me GWOW. Together we are Cookie and GWOW because we recap Jersey Shore episode by episode. We're already in season 3 and episode 6 called Should We Just Break Up? And just so
Yes.
that anyone who's like
should.
wondering is when this came out, this was February of 2011, just to transport you back to that time.
You know what I realized real quick? I want to say
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't realize at the time that I realize now looking back is that all 6 seasons came out back to back to back to back. That whole era was so short. I
Yeah,
didn't
they
realize
pumped them out.
they did like 2.5 seasons a year. Which
It
is
was,
no wonder-
yeah, they really like cranked them, and then quickly they were like, and then they only took like a 5-year break before Family Vacation, which felt so long, maybe because the era was so short.
But
And I don't want to talk about, well, I try not to. I do want to talk about Family Vacation every episode, but I try not to. But I will just say, if you're somebody who's like, yeah, I know I should be watching it, this season is the best season to start because they're doing like recaps, they're doing flashbacks. Sam's getting caught up on everyone's life. So if you want to just jump in without the work, it's great to just jump in. But one of the funniest things ever to me is that Sam says something like, all their faces are exactly the same. And then it pans to Jenny and Angelina and Nicole, whose faces have been touched by an angel.
I love that
they've
touch by
had
an
some
angel.
work
Yes.
done.
Yes.
And which
Some
is
better
so
than
funny.
others.
They don't include Dina in that because I don't know that Dina, if she's got work done, it's not noticeable to me. Whereas like, oh, I love Jenny, don't get me wrong, but like you can't deny the work she's had done.
And we'll get into the actual episode of recapping soon, but Sammy just came back on Family Reunion as of the time we're recording this, so it's still like exciting. Sammy looks fucking phenomenal.
I know, she's gorgeous.
She's always been a beautiful person, but I don't think she's ever looked this good. Like her hair and her face is flawless, and her outfits, like she has style, she's dressing well, she's gorgeous.
Nope, I totally agree. I don't know what age she is, but she is rocking it. Like it looks so good on her. Like I feel like her getting older and going from whatever 22 to like what she's probably like
30 something.
30 something now.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like did not expect her to get more gorgeous than she did. It just looks so good on her. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Aged like a fine wine. I had to point that out. But
let's go back to
travel
2011.
back in time. Yeah, exactly. And the episode is season 3, episode 6. What's it called again? You said, should we break up? The answer is yes.
Should we just break up? Yeah, you guys should. But it starts with the making up of Sam and Jenny. So we start off on this nice happy note. Everyone's together again. And Ron is kind of excessively drinking, and there's nothing really to note that happens except that it's just foreshadow for what's about to happen very soon.
Sam is anxious when Ron gets to a certain point of drinking because Ron has a history of drinking too much. He's, I think, in the house, the one that gets the most drunk. He gets to blackout level. And that's
at
scary
this
for
point,
her.
especially, I think, because I don't think he's like right mentally either.
Right.
And where Sam's a little more transparent about it, I think Ron's just like, let me just keep drinking and blacking out. Yeah, It's not a good coping mechanism, but at least they are good enough in their relationship at this point in time for Sam to be like in a good mood, taking care of him, making him food.
Right.
And like, I think it's so funny if you remember her, like, you have like pukey breath from season 1, and now Ron's puking. She's like, oh my god, I can't do puke. And I just think like it's so funny that she clearly has such a trigger, and even Ron starts puking, you see her like kind of gagging and looking away but kind of laughing. And oh my god, I wish that their whole relationship was just like this, because then I wouldn't hate Ron and I wouldn't be so anti them.
No, they do have cute moments, which makes it harder. Or like the next day was kind of cute. I don't know if we're jumping ahead, but no, not really. The next morning, Ron wakes up with a real bad stomach ache and says that he's shitting blood.
Yeah, he's bleeding from his ass.
Bleeding from his ass. But this is one of those moments where it's like it could have gotten ugly, but it didn't. Sam offers to go to the doctor with him, and they go together. And he's nervous, but they're sort of joking about it. And the doctor does an exam and sticks a finger up his ass, which is a big deal for straight men. It's a big deal. Straight men they freak out about their buttholes. And so he took it in stride, and they were joking about it and laughing. And I was like you said, it's like it almost is like makes me wish I could root for them. I can't and I won't, but I wish I could, because when they're cute, they're kind of cute.
No, I totally agree. And the doctor says that he needs to stop drinking so much, which, like, yeah, duh.
And I wonder what it was. The doctor never explained it to the audience. Is it like an ulcer? Maybe
there's something that Ronnie was like, you can say I've been drinking, but don't say the details. Like, I don't know.
Maybe there was some. I'm
surprised they could even have cameras in there, like just HIPAA and everything.
Surprised.
I guess Ronnie didn't care. I don't know.
I think it's okay if all parties approve of the cameras. Like, you probably sign off.
But did Ronnie have a choice in like saying that the cameras could be in there or not? Or like, you know what I mean?
I was surprised that Ronnie allowed production to film him and his face while he was getting his butthole examined. Because straight men, they freak out. Like, they talk about rectal exams like they're talking about fucking nom, like it's their nom.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I
like,
know.
It's like such a traumatizing experience that it's like it's not that big of a deal.
Get over it. Like, your ego shouldn't be that fragile. Whatever.
First of all, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a finger. Second of all, man up, because women have to be invaded for like from a young age. Like, it's like, man up. Sometimes you got to look at the inside. It's not a big deal.
All right, well, let's go have some girl talk now, because switching over to what the girls do this day. First of all, Jenny finds Nicole sleeping with the dogs when they wake up, which honestly relatable, because what probably happened is that she went to pet the dogs and then just drunkenly fell asleep in there. And I'm like, oh, that easily could have been me.
I thought the exact same thing. I would do the same thing, because there's like this a little gate cutting off a section. It's like their little dog pen. And I thought the same thing. She probably went in there and just was like cuddling them and passed out. And I love that.
It's so funny.
I've noticed the thing about Nicole is that I think when she's not involved in confrontation, she gets like nervous and she always removes herself. So I wonder if like when Ron and Sam were like fighting or something or bickering, she like ran and hid with the puppies or the dogs.
And dogs bring comfort. So I think that could track. Yeah.
I thought that was cute too.
So then we switch to a cute little girls' day. And the one thing I want to note is when they're on the way to run errands, Dina is also talking about masturbation again. And she is just an icon for women's sex empowerment, because she is that bitch. And I love her for it.
What I love about her, she doesn't even think to have shame about it. She's just like, it's natural. Who gives
I love it. Work. Well, they get to the pharmacy, which is just a lot of like fun, lighthearted moments. There's toys in this pharmacy. It's probably like a CVS or something. Yeah. And then they find like a tricycle. So I don't know, maybe it's not a CVS, maybe it's like Walmart. I have no idea. But they start like riding it around, falls over, they break it, and they're like, we gotta go. And it's just a lot of fun.
Well, then they put it back and just left. Come on.
I don't think it fully broke. I think that it just like popped out or something. So I'm not holding them against it.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever done that? Have you ever broken something at a store and just put it back and hope nobody noticed? Because I have. When I was younger. Now I pay for it, but when I was younger.
Not that I can remember, but I wouldn't put myself past it.
I used to be bad, and now I'm the complete opposite. Now I'm like terrified. The other day I was getting a Red Bull at a gas station, and I like pulled on it weird, and it broke and made a big mess. And I cleaned the mess myself. And I paid for the Red Bull. And I was like, look at me.
Wow. Responsible.
I know. I've reformed. I've changed.
People can grow. I think that's where we're taking a break, right?
I think so. Yeah. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Can't get enough of hello?
Never.
Well, check us out on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok at hello pod.
And if you are listening to us, but you'd rather be watching, you can go to patreon.com/hello. There's also going to be tons of bonus content, including bonus episodes and behind the scenes, like how I got my Snooki pove.
And last but not least, if you're a brand or you just want to give us money, send us an email, a professional email at hellopod@gmail.com.
All right, let's get back to the show already.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, we're back.
We are back, and it is nighttime again. And I know that this scene has recently kind of gone viral again on TikTok, but this is where there's some playful banter between Nicole, Dina, and Pauly about them like all making out, and this is just the best scene fucking ever. I love them.
The scene was funny, and I almost was like, I think everybody's taking this seriously, but Pauly, like I think the girls would be down to make out with Pauly.
I agree.
And
I think that they'd be down.
Because when he leaves, he laughs it off, and he closes the door and walks away, and they're like, he's so hot. I think they'd be down, especially Dina. I really think Dina would be fully down.
Oh, no, I don't think it would have taken any convincing, except for Pauly. Yeah.
Do you agree? Do you think Pauly's hot? I would say I personally don't find him that attractive, and so I don't think I'd want to make out with him myself.
I think that his personality adds to it, but I'm not sure about that blowout. I'm just not sure.
And not to bring it to the present too much, but he's got a beard now, and I don't like it. Because
I do. No, I'm definitely a big fan of the beard now. That's for sure.
I think I don't like it because it's the same shape as his blowout. So he's got like a double blowout.
He calls it that on Family Vacation. He's like, I got a double blowout now. That's so funny.
But that was, anyways, you're right. That was a funny scene.
Well, then, of course, they're back at Karma. Where else would they be? And I don't know if Ron's friends from home, like, I don't know where Ron's from. So I don't know if they came to meet him at Karma because they were just happened to be down the shore, or if he lives like close by. Kind of unsure where they come from, but they meet up, and within like 30 seconds, I feel like Dina's making out with one of them.
Yeah, well, she caught a vibe. They got along quickly, and Dina is so adorable because they kind of are making out and dancing, and then she starts making the rounds to other roommates, like, "Can we go? I want to go. I really want to." She wanted to go home and cuddle, which I think is so sweet.
Oh yeah,
she was
immediately like, "Let's go. I found my guy. We got to get out of here."
She like wrangled up all the roommates to leave a little early because she was so desperate to get home and cuddle, which I think that's such a Dina thing to do, like to just like get all giddy about. She loves to snuggle.
Yeah, and I think that Nicole had found somebody also. Like she found somebody she said was making out with him. So I feel like people had coupled off. So I feel like in Dina's head, she was like, it's time to go while everyone's got their person. So
I'm glad you brought up Nicole,
and before they even I did want to note too, before they even leave, like Jenny's behind the DJ booth, like everybody's making out. There was just like a really fun club night before Dina does say like, okay, yeah, we need to just like get out of here.
Well, it came and went quickly, which I think is how you know it was a fun night. When we barely see Karma, we know they had a good time because we really only see it when there's drama for the most part.
That's true.
Nicole, I'm glad you brought her up because I almost forgot. You're right. She got a guy and she was into him. She was like grinding on him and making out. She found her guy. I was kind of surprised by it.
Yeah, she comes back immediately, claims the smush room.
Yeah.
And then she's like riding him around, like he's like throwing her, like she's so little that I just like was cracking up, and it's all like the night cameras, and then she's suddenly like, oh, I'm on my period, which was such a funny commentary from like this point in time of like, can't do anything when you're on your period, which I don't know. I feel like that doesn't happen like these days.
Just ask Dina. You could always do butt stuff. You know, we learned last week that Dina's allegedly into that. So you could have done that. She could have done
allegedly. Well, she does get with one of the Ronnie's friends. Oh, and I thought it was so sweet that she kind of makes it like says some sort of joke about how like she needs to lose weight because this is so like hyper 2011, and that's insane to me. But I love that he was so nice and was like, you are so small. What are you talking about? You can eat whatever you want. Like, it was just so like such a breath of fresh air to be like, thank you for acknowledging the fact that she is a tiny, tiny human.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not going to give him my golden ticket. Like, I'm not doing it, girl. I'm just thinking about it. And then I did it.
It was such a funny montage because she was like, I like him and I think we get along, but I just don't put out on the first date. So we're just going to cuddle. Hope he doesn't mind. And then she's like, okay, so I did it, whatever. But I love her attitude. She's like, I did it, whatever. Good for you.
No, I love the editing of it.
Yeah,
it was so funny.
They had a good vibe, so I would have gone for it too.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Let her get it.
Was Nicole's guy also Ron's friend, or was he just some guy from the club?
I think he was just some guy from the club, but
Okay.
that's I'm unsure.
I wasn't sure on that because I was like, does Ron have like a great friend group because everyone's pairing off with his friends?
Well, drama's going to ensue, so pin on that. But before we get into the drama with Nicole and Jeff, let me get your opinion on this because Jenny and Sammy leave for work and they're like, we're leaving without Mike because he's not getting out of bed. And they show Mike still asleep in bed and they never really show, like, does he go to work late? Does he not go to work? Does he get in trouble? And I'm like, does he skip work and nothing happens? Like, why even show that if there's no follow-up to it? Like, I just didn't get, I don't know. And then imagine Angelina watching that and being like, what in the motherfucker?
I thought of Angelina too. The rules are so different now. You know, season 1, they were nobodies. They were beholden to the rules. Now they have leverage. They're stars and they are worth money. Like, their presence brings MTV money. And so it's like, I don't know. If I were Mike, I might leverage that too. Be like, I'm not going to fucking work today. Although Jenny and Nicole made it, so maybe get your ass up. Nobody wants to. What can we say? Nobody wants to work. Get your ass up, Mike.
Yep.
Maybe he went later and they just didn't show up, but it didn't look like he went to work.
I didn't think so either. And you said Jenny and Nicole, but you meant Jenny and Sammy made it to work because Nicole is going to have a whole day with Jeff because they wake up and she's realizing like, wait, he's really fun vibes. And he like, tries to do like the stripper pole dance, falls over, which is just hilarious. And I can't tell if they're still drunk or if they're what like their vibe is, but they're like, let's just go to the boardwalk. So that's why I feel like they were still drunk and just decided to like continue the day.
Either they're
like kind of cute.
Either they're still drunk or maybe they weren't that drunk to begin with because this is Nicole's like, this is her like, I'm gonna drink less era because we haven't had
did she kind of like follow up on that though? I'm not sure she did.
Well, the only reason I think maybe is because we haven't really had like a meatball night in a while. We haven't really seen her be like fucked up since then. So I'm wondering, I'm sure she's still drinking at this point, but maybe she's limiting it a little bit because she's still anxious. Because I only say that because we haven't had like the only thing we had was when she passed out with the dog. So maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think you could kind of qualify this as a meatball day. I mean, like they go out and I do think they go to a bar at some point and they're on the like a ride and she realizes that he has a tongue ring and they're like making out. And so this feels like a meatball day for sure.
You're right. I'm wrong. They were drunk because she specified, how did I not realize he had a tongue ring? I must have been fucked up. How do you not realize someone has a tongue ring? I forgot she had said
they were making out all night. You didn't know until the next morning.
Her mouth must have been numb because you're right. How do you not notice a metal ball in someone's mouth?
Yeah. Now, this is where they also have to be drunk because in this fight makes no sense. They're at a bar and he's trying to like tell her about himself. And he says, I used to be engaged. And I don't know what happened, but like she got the ick from him saying I used to be engaged.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she like was threatened by that or I don't know like what made her mood change, but like it's an instant switch and then like everything goes like they're walking back, everything goes downhill. She's like pushing him off. Yeah. And she's like, no, fuck you. And I'm like, all because he was engaged? You just met this man. What?
Well, and then he starts calling and begging to talk to her. And she won't answer the phone, and Paulie has to answer and fuck with him a little bit to get him to leave her alone.
I know. We're going to do it in the cookie quote because it's so funny. And I just love, there's like the part that we're going to do, and then he pretends he's like, it's Jesse's Pizza or whatever. And he's like, you owe her roses, fried pickles.
My favorite is when he starts talking like a robot, and he goes, to speak to Nicole, press 2. And then you hear beep on the phone.
I'll let you take that then when we do the cookie quote because that is so funny. You're right. It's very robotic and like he makes like a sweet voice too. Like for Snooki, press 1. It's so funny.
It was he did kind of a good job. He kind of like sold it.
Customer service voice.
I want to say, okay, so I do have a take on Nicole's reaction. I feel like she might have had trouble verbalizing what she was feeling. But my take on it is I think what happened is she got the ick from him spilling his life story like that because it wasn't him just saying I was engaged. He's telling the story about this woman he knew and was like deeply in love with her and wanted to spend his whole life with her. But he was, I think, going to go like to the army. And so he engaged so that she would wait for him. Like, so I feel like beyond the engagement part, because he says the engagement was broken, so he's not engaged currently. I think what gave her the ick was just barely knowing this guy and being attracted to him and having him be like, yeah, this girl that I was in love with. Like that's
no,
the
I
turn
definitely see what you're saying. My only counter to that is that later in this exact episode, they're at the t-shirt shop. Like this is like a next day. You know how editing is, so I don't know exactly when this is, but it's later on. And Nicole and Jenny are having some girl talk, and Nicole is saying how she's like, I'm just lonely and want a boyfriend. And I'm like, when you were like dissing that guy, part of the thing she said, she was like, he wants a girlfriend. I don't want that commitment right now and all this stuff. But I'm like, well, maybe it is like, maybe you said the life story thing, but I'm like, well, you don't want commitment, but you just then 2 seconds later, you're lonely and want a boyfriend. I'm just not sure how that all adds up.
I can sadly relate to that. I have to say I can relate to that, because there's times when I'm like alone in my room and I'm like, especially if I watch like a romance or something, and I'm so like, I want that. I want a partner. I want to fall asleep next to somebody every night. And then I go on a date. Well, then I go on a date and the guy will be like, I just really like you. And I'm like, ugh, get off. So I get
the fuck off.
Get the fuck off.
Get off.
So I kind of get, unfortunately, where Nicole's coming from, because it's like almost like you want it when it seems far away, but when you maybe could have it, you're like, oh, I don't know, never mind. This guy's too clingy.
Okay.
You know? I
hear you.
I feel like that could be it, because that's me. Or also, and this is a question I have for you. How do you feel about going on a first date and they open up that much? Because I personally am not an open up on the first date kind of person. I'm more keep it casual.
Yes,
so,
because you are a gay man and I am a queer woman. And no, Cookie, that does not happen on queer women first dates. We are telling our whole life story and it's lasting like 12 to 14 hours. So like, no, this wouldn't have given me the ick at all if I was into the person. And she was. True? She was like so into him.
Is
yes,
that true?
That's absolutely true.
With the first date lasting hours and hours? Because I'm more of like a let's get a drink for an hour and then not text for a week. But that's why I wanted to ask you, because gay men and gay women famously have very different dating patterns, which is why I don't understand how straight couples ever work, because men and women are so different. It's like, that's why it's like gay couples are so much more equipped, because we're like men dating men and women dating women. Just like we just get each other.
My girlfriend and I's like first date kind of. We literally like drove up a mountain, which takes like an hour up, an hour down. And then even after that, we were like, what should we do next? And we like went and got like insomnia cookies. And like, no, it was probably 4 hours. That's how lesbians are, Cookie.
Yeah, well, that's because I went on a date once and this guy was like spilling his whole life story about getting his heart broken and like losing the love of his life, and I was like, ew, I don't like that. That's why.
Okay, Nicole.
That's why I relate to Nicole in this moment, because I'm like, I don't want to hear that yet. Like, let me get to know you a little better first.
Well, the only thing else I want to know before we take a little break is that there's another girls' day, sort of, and the girls and the guys split up at least, and they actually get to have Sam included, which is so nice because it's like, yay, the gang's together again. And they go back to the sex store that the stripper pole is from, and holy JWoww. Like, is she serious? Oh my word. Even Snooki and Dina are like, JWoww, are you joking? You look so good. Is this like real life in front of it's just, and even JWoww knows. She's looking at herself like, yeah, I know. Look at these tits. I paid for them. They look good.
Well, and also it's the tits, but also she's in such good shape. Like when you work for a body like that, you know, you look good. Come on.
It's true. Like, she's definitely worked for it.
She's like tight and toned.
Yeah. She's phenomenal. Phenomenal work.
She looked phenomenal, and she has her body suits the laundry. She was wearing like dominatrixy kind of bondagey lingerie.
Her vibe also suits that kind of a look.
Yeah. That was a very JWoww outfit. Yeah.
Like Dina's not wearing that. Like Dina could do the sexy nurse for sure.
That's why she can get away with calling herself JWoww, because she's a JWoww. It fits.
JWoww.
And there's something I wanted to address was that when they were driving to the sex shop, they all had open containers of not JWoww who was driving, but the other three girls, they had cocktails just in cups in the car. You can't do that.
I didn't even catch that.
No, all three of them, Dina, Sam, and Nicole, they all had cocktails like clear cups with alcohol in them in the car. You can't just do that. Just because you're filming a show doesn't mean you're above the law. And
Yikes. No, that's not good.
And I've also heard, because things got so crazy because they were so famous at this point and because Seaside was such a small town, they had like cops that would follow them around and escort them. Like, so they didn't just I don't know if
like
I believe
security almost.
Yeah, but I think they had private security provided by MTV and police. I believe. I may be wrong. So it's like they must have really thought they were above the law, because like, how do you do that and there's cops escorting you? That's crazy to me. That's bold. If I'm right. I might be wrong. Maybe I misheard. Maybe it was just security, but I believe there was like actual New Jersey police following them around.
Tea.
Is that it for this? Should we take a break?
Yes, let's take a break. Welcome to Sapphic Survival Guide.
My name is Cheyenne.
I'm Gina.
Class is now in session.
How do you define queer style?
How do you communicate that you don't want to U-Haul at all?
Right, as literally every queer woman I meet hate Geminis.
How do I deal with the most devastating breakup I've ever been through? Sapphic Survival Guide.
We're happy to be queer to answer your questions.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Oops, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we are back.
We are back, and I think it's Sunday
I
again.
didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
I think it's Sunday again, and the guys are cooking while the girls were out, and like they just had this really fun girls' day. And the guys are like weirdly bitter, which I don't know. I don't even want to talk about Ron because he just drives me fucking nuts, and he's just in a mood the whole dinner. So honestly, I don't really want to get into it because he's annoying. So
we could just say, just to be clear on the storyline. The girls get home and Ron starts bitching at Sam, all the girls, but Sam specifically, about how
she's obviously getting the brunt.
Yeah, since the guys are cooking, the girls should have cleaned first. The guys had to clean and then cook, and that annoys them. They should have had a clean kitchen to cook in. It was his argument, which the way of course, that's annoying as it is. And then at dinner, the whole vibe, this is Sunday dinner, right? This is like this is a Sunday dinner. And the whole vibe is off, and everybody was silent, and like it was so awkward. And Dina at the end of the dinner even goes, "That was not a good time."
Yeah. No, it's definitely uncomfortable, and like it's Ron's fault.
We don't have to we could end it there because I've had enough.
Yeah. So kind of skipping ahead, they're like getting ready to go out. I think it's the next day. Whatever. It is where it is.
Yeah.
It's the next day. They're getting ready, and Sam is obsessively straightening her hair like she does. And I don't really know where any of their fights come from these days, but I think Sam's just like kind of over things and like trying to make jokes. And I don't know. I think she's going like a little like out there just because of all the trauma that she's been put through, and so she's just like making jokes, I think, as like a defense mechanism. And so when he's being an ass, she's like, "What, do you want to just break up?" And because Ron's ridiculous, it all turns into like this huge fight. And at some point, Vinny's sitting out like downstairs getting ready to go, and he's like, "Hell has to be just like this." And I'm like, they all have to be thinking that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would be sick of it too. They ruined dinner. They're about to go out this night, and they ruined that too. And now Sam's gonna stay home, and it's always a problem.
The only reason that's like kind of okay is that MVPD ends up going out, meaning that Dina and the guys go out, and that's usually a pretty successful recipe. So they do have fun. And the only real notable thing from the night out is that Danielle the Stalker is back.
Yes, she is back, and it's an iconic GIF. I've seen that GIF before of her like turning around and it says Danielle the Stalker on
Danielle
the
Stalker.
I've used that GIF before, so I was like, oh, that's where it comes from season 3.
Yeah, the last time we saw her, she was throwing a drink in Polly's face, but now she wants to make up. Yeah. And I think just for the fun of it, Polly's like, "Come on back to the house." Like, I think he's just like making a parody of the whole thing. And he immediately, I love him for this. The fact that he still has the I Heart Jewish Girls shirt that she made him. The fact that he didn't get rid of it, that he brought it back to Seaside, and knowing that she's still going to stalk his life as like, technically she's his ex-girlfriend. So like, as crazy ex-girlfriends do. But he had that foresight to be like, "I'm not getting rid of this gift that she gave me. This is the gift that keeps on giving." And he puts the shirt on, and you can see on her face, she's like, "Why did I even make that shirt in the first place?"
It's a pretty embarrassing shirt.
I know.
What does it say? I forget. It says I love Jewish girls, except instead of a heart, it's a Star of David.
With the Italian flag over that too.
I forgot. You know what? That's kind of
attention to detail that this girl had.
It's attention to detail. She put thought into it. She incorporated the two cultures, and it's a little camp. I'm not gonna lie. And I think Polly agrees.
Yes.
Polly agrees. He gets it. That's why we like Polly, because he knows it's funny. He knows it's funny.
The girls who get it, and Polly gets it. And it's so funny. And like, what's kind of funny is like, I think that Polly did have kind of good intentions. I think Vinny's like a little bit of a dick. And so they're kind of giving her shit about like being the stalker. And eventually she's like, okay, we need to like leave. She's like, I need to just like leave. Yeah. Oh yeah. Dina even jumps in. She's like, why are you here?
Vinny was going harder. Vinny wouldn't stop. But Dina threw in a couple of jabs too of like, yeah, why is she here? And I wonder if that's because like she has a little bit of a crush on Polly maybe. And she's like, thinks, I don't know but I was just surprised because I was like, Dina usually doesn't call people out like that.
That's true. No, I don't know. And then when she finally does realize, like, okay, I've had enough of this and I need to leave. She's like, have a fun summer, like have fun this summer, like such an offhand compliment or comment to like leave him off on of like, whatever, do your thing. I don't know. It was just kind of funny to me.
And then she leaves pretty quickly, right? Like she doesn't stay the night. She just came to have a moment, which, good for her. Maybe she needed a redemption moment.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, the rest of the episode kind of pans back to more Sam and Ron drama, and they're really fighting over nothing at all. It's an unproductive conversation. They're going in circles. They're bringing up Miami again. And I think we're going to come back to this on the next episode. So like, there's only so much we can really say about the Sam and Ron drama, except that it's not over. And they do at some point kind of say like, maybe you should move stuff out of the room. So like, there's a little bit of indication that like maybe, but I just don't have any faith in like, it's exhausting to keep going in circles.
Yeah. Well, because like I said, I think I said this a few weeks ago, I remembered around up until the Where's the Beach. And then after that, for some reason, I forgot the rest of the season. So I'm watching this and like, it's all a surprise again, like the first time. And so at this point, I don't remember if they officially break up at this point or not. And so at the end of my notes I wrote they break up ? Because it was very like maybe, but knowing them probably not, so we'll see.
That's how they are.
I really don't remember, and I'm kind of excited but nervous to see. Excited in a morbid way and nervous. I do want to comment on one more thing that Sam kept asking, are we breaking up tell me, I need closure. And every time she asked, Ron said, yes, we're over. And she kept saying, I need closure. Just like, what fucking closure? We're over. And I feel really bad for her because I know where she's at. She just doesn't trust a word he says, positive or negative. Whether he's hyping her up or whether he's talking shit, it's like she can't, literally everything that leaves his mouth, she doesn't have faith in. So even if he says, we're breaking up, even that she doesn't believe. That's, I feel for her because that's a fucked up, scary place to be in. Insecure.
Fully.
The last episode ended positive. This one ended kind of rough, but
we can end positively with our cookie quote.
Oh, that's right.
I think you should do Polly because you were mentioning kind of the roboticness of things, and I think that you're going to be better at that than me.
Okay. Thank you for calling the Jersey Shore store. We are unable to come to the phone at this time, but if you leave your name, number, a brief message after the tone, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you.
Hey, Nicole, it's Jeff. Look, I don't know what you're getting all pissed about. We were fine all day. I'm really sorry. I apologize. All right?
For Snooki, press 1. For Jenny, press 2. For Dina, press 4.
Beep.
The Jersey Shore customer you're trying to reach, Dina, cannot come to the phone at this time. But leave your name, number, and a brief message after the tone. Her ass will get back to you. Thank you. Goodbye. That was dope, yo.
And scene. I love it.
That was the rest of the quote. I wouldn't say that was dope, yo. I wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, no, that was definitely Polly's words and iconic duck phone moments. One of my favorites, I think, ever.
It was hilarious, and he kind of did a great job at doing the robot voice. He sold it.
Yeah, like move over, Siri. Move over, Alexa. Polly's in town.
So I think that's it.
Goodbye.
Hello.
Goodbye. We'll see you next week.
If you want more of the podcast, you can follow us on any social media at Hello Pod.
We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/hello. We've got a video feed there so you can see our beautiful faces while we recap Jersey Shore. And we've also got a little bit of behind the scenes bonus content for you.
And you can find me anywhere online at The Lead Regina, including my website, theleadregina.com.
And you can find me online on TikTok and Instagram at angel.iconic.music.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.